Good morning, students. My name is Mr. ThrBak, and I am the Director of Grants and Funded Programs for the Bridgeton Public School District, and I will be reading to you this morning for Read Across the City of Bridgeton. This morning, I will be reading from the World War II Memorial from the City of Bridgeton. The book that I will be reading is entitled, I Live at a Military Post by Stasia Ward Kehoe. Let us begin. My name is Michael. I am 9 years old. I live with my mom, stepdad, dog, and cat at an Army post in Fairfax County, Virginia. The post is called Fort Belvoir. I have lived at Fort Belvoir for about a year. We moved here from Alaska, where my stepdad served a tour of duty at Fort Richardson. Fort Belvoir is surrounded by beautiful plants and trees. There's plenty of room to play outside with my dog. Fort Belvoir land has an interesting history. It was once an English state in 1734. Thomas, the 6th Lord of Fairfax, asked his cousin, Colonel William Fairfax, to come and live in Virginia. He built a large home on Thomas's land. He called his home Belvoir, which means beautiful to see. Young George Washington lived at nearby Mount Vernon. He often visited Belvoir. Before George Washington became the first U.S. president, he was in the Army. He visited Belvoir many times. The Belvoir land became Fort Belvoir in 1935. From 1935 to 1989, Fort Belvoir was home to the Army's engineering school. Today, there are 90 different groups stationed at Fort Belvoir. These groups include the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command, Soldiers Magazine, and divisions of the Army Reserve and National Guard. My stepdad says that Fort Belvoir's mission or job is to meet the needs of these important groups. The soldiers at a military post work for the United States government. Michael's stepfather is an Army sergeant. He has an important job in military communications. Like many of the military men and women who live at Fort Belvoir, his work sometimes takes him off the post. Sometimes his stepdad gets to do work for the White House. Here's a picture of Michael and his stepdad. Fort Belvoir is an important post to Michael. It is also home. His family lives in the part of the post known as Woodlawn Village. 14 families live in his neighborhood. Someone from each family is a member of the military who has been stationed at Fort Belvoir. Family members who are not in the military are called civilians. There are lots of other kids to play with and play with Michael in Woodlawn Village. Everyone in Michael's school has a mom or a dad stationed at Fort Belvoir. Even though Fort Belvoir Elementary School is on the post grounds, it is a part of the public school system of Fairfax County, Virginia. Fort Belvoir Elementary School is big and new. It was built because the post is growing. Fort Belvoir needed more classroom space for all the students who live there. And school for Michael is a good place for him to meet people when his family moves to a new post. Here's a picture of Michael and his friend. After school, Michael likes to go to the Post Youth Center. He can play ping pong, pool, video games, and sports there. He likes to play basketball. Fort Belvoir is so big that there are enough kids for 6 basketball teams at the youth center. His team is called the White Tigers. Besides the youth center, Fort Belvoir has its own community center, hospital, library, bank, churches, and a sports center. They even have a weekly newspaper just for the people, military and civilians, at the post. It is called the Belvoir Eagle. Here is a picture of Michael at the center. Shopping at the Post Exchange is lots of fun. The Post Exchange, which they call the PX, has lots of stores so that military families can get everything they need without leaving the post. There is a commissary where you can buy groceries, a video arcade, a big store called House and Garden, and of course a military clothing store. You can buy food, clothes, and furniture at the PX. You can also go to the PX to get your hair cut, your car repaired, or your laundry cleaned. Whenever Michael's family needs something, they go to the Military Post Exchange. Here is a picture of Michael and his mom at the Post Exchange, also known as the PX. Like a town, a military post has car speed limits, recycling plans, and rules that everyone must follow. They even have their own police force called the military police. One big difference between living on a military post and living in a regular town is that each person who works at a post has to carry an identification badge or ID. The ID lets people know that you work at Fort Belvoir. Here's a picture of Michael and his stepdad walking on the post. Living at a military post is different from living in an ordinary town or city. Many people wear military uniforms. You need an identification badge to get around. Families come and go when their tour of duty or job at Fort Belvoir begins or ends. In other ways, a military post is like a regular town. It is a community where lots of people work together or go to school together, and the things we need, the things that Michael and his family needs, are nearby. Just as it is in our city, the great city of Bridgeton. It is an honor and a pleasure to have read the book entitled I Live at a Military Post by Stasia Ward Kehoe. After serving in the military for 10 years, my family and I, we were stationed at 2 posts, one of which was in New York, the 10th Mountain Division in Watertown, New York. But I am happy to be back home in the Bridgeton area, and it is an honor to work in the great city of Bridgeton. Thank you.